Okay, no problem. Okay, so uh, as I said, research paper or any research outcome which gets publishes or which can be, like an outcome of your like the entire hard work that you put in your educational degree, or you being into the organization also, in terms of research, that definitely needs to get published. And that is what actually makes you satisfied. That is one, but at the same time excels you in the career. At the same time, it also gives you an identity in the career. Okay, if you are publishing something about, like on the areas that you are studying, and if you are continuously working on those areas, that definitely makes you kind of an expert in that particular area, and people will definitely recognize you, keeping that like research area that you have studied in mind. So yeah, definitely publication is something very, very important. So to begin with the publication activities, or to begin with the paper that you wanted to write, you definitely need to choose a topic of your choice. Choice means like the topic that comes out of your entire research that you have worked on. So you definitely have to choose a topic on which you definitely have to like develop a paper upon. So be as much as possible specific in your writing in your research. Like focus on a specific subject, or a class, or maybe focus on particular place, region, or focus on certain time period, focus on certain aspect, right? If you're just focusing, I mean, if you are being so broad in your research ideas, if you are being so like vague in your research ideas, you may not come out with a specific conclusion of your research, right? So in that case, you try to be as much as possible particular and specific. If you wanted to touch upon each and everything, that is really not possible. And you will not be able to justify all the aspects as well, or any one of the aspects as well. So in that case, you definitely need to be specific while writing a research paper, or let me say, while even doing a research study also. If it is your PhD thesis also, you always need to be very, very particular about your topic, and very, very specific, like whatever specific area that you are studying upon. You should not be quite vague or quite general while choosing a topic, as well as studying that particular topic. So, as I've discussed in many other classes, previous classes, you definitely have to narrow down the broader picture of the problem, and then based on that narrowing down, you can develop a like research solution or research analysis to that particular paper. Okay. So as I said, subject, you definitely need to choose a subject which is of your like expertise, or maybe if you which actually strikes to your mind. Okay, so that subject has to be chosen very, very like uh, by giving a lot of stretch upon studying about it, like exploring as many as possible research questions about it, and then accordingly you can go ahead, like exploring more about that subject, class, or these are all different areas wherein you can position your research. Okay, so maybe place, if you wanted to focus upon, or region. For example, in Uttar Pradesh, we have Bundelkhand as one of the drought prone region, where there are a lot many like farmer suicides that happens, or let me say, in other words, there is a agrarian distress, or maybe water scarcity. So that kind of areas can also be definitely chosen, which can definitely which you can focus from the region point of view, or maybe region per se, the northeastern region of the country can also be focused upon. So this is depend upon like what exactly like is the size and time availability with the researcher, and then accordingly the researcher can decide like what number of what is the what type like how much sample should be there and what region that has to be focused upon. So different aspects can definitely be highlighted in the research paper. It can be social, legal, medical, ethical, biological, psychological, economic, political, philosophical, etc. So you'll definitely have to like see where does your research fits in, whether it is a legal aspect, whether it is a social aspect that you are studying upon, or whether it is a medical research which is from the point of view of social medicine, that can also be focused upon. You can also, in the research paper, you can also focus upon a population groups. So maybe kind of demographic aspects, which includes gender, age, occupation, ethnicity, nationality, educational attainments, and species of any certain types. So these are all many things which can definitely be focused by the researchers. Okay, so that is something which you definitely have to keep in mind. You can combine also, you can definitely at the time of analysis you can definitely combine as well, like you can focus upon gender, age, occupation, ethnicity, and nationality as well. So these are like it is depend upon you and the study that you have. uh, yeah, as I said, a relationship also, like how does the gender and age plays a role in any of the like areas or any of the aspect that you are studying upon. Maybe occupation and how occupation is like linked with the nationality, or occupation linked with the education can also be correlated. So that also you can focus in your research. So maybe there can be different kinds of focuses that can be kept in mind, and you can definitely write in that way. Okay. Uh, this is just the general outline. There can be differentiation in the outlines. There are different types of research papers can be written beyond this outline, but this is a common outline that I would suggest. But you can definitely look at the journal specific suggestions for the outline, or maybe you can also look at the like publication house specific outlines that what they suggest in the paper. But in general you can definitely keep in mind, even as we keep this in mind for the thesis writing as well, or maybe the like sometimes some research project writing as well. So yeah, always it is required abstract. Abstract writing I have like already covered right in the last class, how to write a abstract. Abstract is kind of an is a mirror of your entire research paper. People will decide whether to read your paper or not entirely by looking at your abstract only. Okay, so abstract should be very clear, very precise, and very concise story of your entire work. Okay, story means the entire steps that you have followed, and it also reflects upon the key findings. So abstract should definitely generate the interest of the readers to write the entire paper. आपको एब्स्ट्रैक्ट उनको देने के बाद ही उनको ऐसे लगना चाहिए कि ये पेपर पढ़ने लायक है. Okay, so it is abstract is kind of a teaser or maybe the trailer of your entire movie, right? In other words, or in if we take that as an example. So movie देखने से पहले कितना हम जैसे like how like I mean your that movie, sorry, a trailer gives you a entire picture of the movie, what exactly to be covered in the um, like in that movie. So that is how abstract should be developed. Should definitely attract the reader's attention to read the entire paper. So that's how your abstract should be written down. Then introduction, or maybe the thesis statement. Thesis statement means what? Thesis means what? What do you understand by thesis? Any ideas? Any guesses? Okay, thesis basically means an idea. Okay, in theoretical writings, thesis means, in other word, it is idea. Okay, so what is your idea? What is your argument? What exactly you wanted to study? Okay, so that statement has to be there in the introduction. That has to be cleared in the introduction itself. Okay, so introduction will definitely start from the broader perspective, I mean broader lens, and then you are definitely narrowing it down to, like till then, you are making the clear statement of your research. You are making it very clear that this is the broader scenario at the state level, national level, or maybe at the global level, and this is my idea of studying this particular problem. What exactly I wanted to focus upon. So what is my idea that has to come into the introduction? So to broaden that, like to, make it even more reliable, लोगों को अगर आपके आपके रिसर्च के ऊपर या आपके इंट्रोडक्शन के ऊपर या आपके पेपर के ऊपर ज़्यादा रिलायबिलिटी लेके आना है, तो यू डेफिनेटली हैव टू रेफर सो मेनी अदर पीपल्स आर्गुमेंट्स, राइट? जो वो लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं और एंड आप लोग क्या बोल रहे हो, right? There is one very good book that I think we both have attended. Hemangi ma'am, if you remember, we had attended one of the workshops in TISS, academic writing workshop. And in that academic writing workshop, we had been suggested to refer one book that is called What They Say, What I Say. Do you remember that book? Maybe it was quite long back. I think a decade back, like 11, 12 years back. Right. So
Can you just type the name? I can buy for this.
I'll just show that book to you. I'll just quickly show that book to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So this book, I think, if you remember, can you see this?
No, you can't see.
Is my
I
video on?
cannot see.
I think my video is off. So
Now you are visible.
can you see this book?
They say and I say. Okay.
Haha. This is something which is very interesting book which I found out,
Hmm.
and this actually should be referred by almost all the researchers.
Okay.
Okay. So okay. So
Yeah, students, please
in
note
this,
down all this.
it's okay. Okay. So in this, no, the research uh, paper that has been, like how the arguments should be built up by the young researchers. Okay. Uh, in this, there are many chapters wherein, like, how can we build our arguments, and to support those arguments, what other researchers says talks about, or maybe what other researchers like have, and how can we get other researchers support to those arguments. So this is something which
Hmm.
I found out very interesting to read, and I think the cost of this book is around 1300 rupees, and I have ordered this book specifically to our library as well. So maybe you can think of.
Matter in academic, the matter in academic writing, na?
Yeah, it is about the moves that matter in academic writing. Okay, Gerald Graf and Kathy
Hmm.
Birkenstein. Okay, so maybe you can think of this. So what I'm trying to say is, like, this kind of books should definitely be referred. And this will definitely help you out in terms of writing, building your statements, and to get the support of to like like kind of strengthen your statements, kind of make your statements more reliable, more like constructive. You definitely get the support of other writers, other researchers, or maybe someone who has extensively worked on those statements. So this title is very very nicely written, that what they say, what they say means the people, those who are already written about the topic that you are studying, and what I say, what you say about your topic. So that is how you develop your thesis statement. Okay, that is how you develop your introduction. So that's how it has to be written. Then literature review, of course, this also I think I have already covered. But literature review, writing in research paper is something which is a skill that has to be definitely learned by all of us. That it should be written in a very very systematic manner. It has to have a flow. It should not, even the literature that you refer to write your research paper should also not be so old literature, should be the recent, the current literature. What I remember while publishing one of my EPW paper, uh, I mean, I was at the last stage of my review process. अगले महीने में पेपर सब पब्लिश होने वाला था 15 दिनों में. And before that, before that, just like 15 days back, before, I had got one of the very interesting articles someone else have published. So the editor had suggested me to quote that paper as well. So in the literature review, you will have to keep in mind that as much as possible, the latest literature can be added in that, would be the best thing. At the same time, you should also keep in mind that the previous literature or the literature that is like long back published should also be definitely respected, taken care of. But at the same time, you should keep the balance of all those things, and as per your requirement of your study as well. So that has to be written in a very systematic and a proper manner, which can give a critical overview of the entire research ecosystem that is working upon that particular topic. Okay, here ecosystem, that means the ecosystem is the academics, what academicians are writing about it, what activists are talking about that particular problem, and what government is responding to that particular problem, and what society is responding to that particular. So the entire ecosystem has to be reflected in the introduction as well as in the literature review that you are referring on. Okay. Then methodology, of course, is something which is most critical. Unless and until you have a strong methodological support or backup, you should never be. Your research will not at all be considered as the scientific research. Okay, you should, to get the scientificity to your research, you should definitely have a very strong and perfectly matched research methodology. You should definitely keep in mind that whatever study or whatever subject that you are, and whatever questions that you are framing, you should definitely think twice, thrice, even 10 times while choosing a research methodology. Which particular research method will give you the best outcomes of that to that particular question should definitely be analyzed by you as a researcher. Okay, so whether it is qualitative perspective or paradigm will give you the best results, or whether it is quantitative, or do you wanted to mix it up, or you had already covered in your the research, previous research that you have conducted, but you wanted to highlight one part of that research only. So you definitely need to convince to the editor or to the publisher, those who are going to publish your research paper, that this research methodology is the best suit to your research paper which has rational interpretations. Rationality is reflected in the writings. Okay, so each and every like method, tool, techniques that you are applying or that you are writing in your research paper should be rationally written. Okay, otherwise what will happen? People, the reader, the reviewer will not get convinced with the methodology, and they may reject your paper at the initial point of view only. Okay, then you definitely need to highlight the results. This is one of the most critical. This is the outcome of your research, right? This is the outcome of your research question or the idea that you have presented in the introduction. So results, maybe you can do multiple sections of the results. First you may highlight the social, I mean, you can like organize however you want, but results should be presented into different sections, so that each section will have a separate attention, and each and every section will definitely have a unique, outcome of your research. So results also should be presented. Yeah, nowadays, like there are multiple tools that are coming up in the academic domain. There are plenty of AI tools that I had also introduced in the previous sessions as well. Those also should be explored by all of us. I'm saying that, like, do not in my personal opinion, I think that we should definitely leverage the AI tools, but they should not, like, dominate our ideas, right? Ideas should be our own ideas, original ideas. The writings that we are writing should be original, but sometimes, to get some support, we may leverage some of the tools which are which can be like which are the AI tools, or some of the other softwares which are there in the academic domain. But definitely ethical use and careful use of all these tools should be the utmost priority by all the researchers. But I'm saying that, like, leveraging some of those modern emergencies that have came should definitely be leveraged while designing your results section as well. Now, discussion is again this book title, like, they say I say. Okay, they say means, it can also be they say, they means the participants of your study, the respondents, the sample of your study. What are they saying, and what are you saying? Okay, so discussion that you are having with the with the results and the researcher, and at the same time you are also intervening or getting some of the, people, those who are you are referring of on the different research scholars, those who have already published on that particular area. Okay, so those kind of discussions, or those kind of areas should also be focused upon. Let me say, discussion is also one of the most critical section of your research paper, should definitely be written very thoroughly and very systematically according to the results that you are getting in your study. So discussion part is also important. And conclusion again, this is I mean, this is nonetheless to say, right? We need not to say that, like, conclusion, how important it is. It is of course important. We while doing anything, we conclude something, right? While talking also, while delivering a lecture also, we conclude at the end. So that is how the conclusion should be made at the end of your research paper as well. So the conclusion should also be super crunchy, super concised, super clear conclusion, which exactly talks what has been written in your research paper. So sometimes people, there are some readers, those who are not maybe interested in terms of reading lengthy discussions or lengthy results or lengthy, introduction statements or other parts of your research paper. They sometimes they are more interested in reading just the abstract and the conclusion also. So how do you satisfy their reading, interests? That also has to be kept in mind. Then references, whatever style had been suggested by the publishers, by the publication houses. Let me say, APA is the most common referencing style, is referred by almost all the academic fraternity, be it research scholars, be it students, or be it faculties, or be it any other people, those who are working into the academic domain as well as non-academic domains as well. But at the same time, there are multiple publication houses, journal specific guidelines are there, publication house specific guidelines are there for the entire structure of your research paper, as well as the referencing in your research paper. So that also you will have to keep in mind, so that uh, the paper will not be rejected. If you are, uh, kind of you are, I mean, for example, if MDPI is one of the publication house, if they suggest that to use, let's say, MLA referencing style, and if you are using AP, then in that case your paper will be have a chances of getting rejected at the first round itself. So that should not happen. You should always keep in mind that referencing style should be followed of that particular journal specific. Okay, so I think this gives you a clear picture that what I wanted to say about. And as I said, some of these areas which are already been discussed, that like abstract, to briefly introduce the reader to aims, study, methodology, results, and findings. State clear overall purpose for the study, often framed a discussion of the need the research is satisfying. Define research questions of the study, to give a very brief background of relevant theory and practice. Let me just clarify with research questions. Research questions means, some of you, those who are new researchers or those who are quite new in research domain, should not confuse between the broad research questions or key questions that strike to your mind, and the questionnaire that we prepare at the later stage at the time of data collection. Research questions means आपकी आप इंक्वायरी करने से पहले आपके दिमाग में क्या आया था, राइट? ये स्टडी आपके दिमाग में कैसे आया? ये स्टडी क्यों करना चाहते हैं आप? व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? वो व्हाट आर दोज एरियाज दैट हैव स्ट्राइक टू योर माइंड एंड देन यू थॉट ऑफ लाइक inquiring those questions. Okay, so research questions are the guiding pillars to your research. So your research questions that you are framing, 3-4 questions that strike to your mind, based upon you have framed the objectives or entire research study. So those research questions I'm talking about, not the ones, of course, the later stage, we also prepare a questionnaire, we prepare the interview guide, or maybe we prepare a checklist of different tools. Those are definitely important, and they are getting derived from the larger research questions only. But like for example, gender. So why society is gender discriminate? What are the root causes of gender discrimination? ये हो सकता है बड़ा research question, broad research question, right? But based upon that, you have developed lot many questions at the time of interview. At this stage, you should definitely, while writing in your introduction also, the research questions, what are the broad research questions? The questions that have actually strike to your mind. Those questions should guide your entire research and entire argument that you are making about. Okay. So that is something about which I missed in the initial slide. To give a very brief background of relevant theory and practice for your topic. Now, it is not necessarily that you are always using some kind of theoretical background or backup to your research or your paper. Sometimes you are developing a theory. You need not to have a backup of any of the theories, right? So that time it is okay. But many times what happens, like something which is already been developed and you are developing something else based upon that previously developed construct or the larger theoretical perspective or framework. For example, intersectionality is one of the theory which is developed in US by the black feminist who is Kimberly Crenshaw, and she talked about how intersectionality plays a role in terms of margin in terms of marginalization of women across the intersections. So maybe if you are a women at the initial stage only being women, you are facing the discrimination. Over to that, if you are a black woman, you have two different layers of the discrimination. One is you being a woman, that is one layer, and the other one is you being a black woman, the double layered discrimination that you are facing. uh, to move upon, there is third layer of discrimination is like you being a woman, that is one. Then second is you are a black woman and you are from a rural areas of the country. So that is the third layer, that is the third intersection that you are that is contributing to your marginalization. In some of the other cases, one layer is like I mean, of course, women, black women, then rural women, and women from the, like again, backward region of the country. Say, for example, Marathwada, women from Marathwada region of Maharashtra is one of the backward regions in Maharashtra, right? Or maybe a women from Jharkhand is one of the like backward states in the country, right? Or maybe Bihar, one of the backward regions in the country. So that is how there are different multi sections that plays role in shaping the marginalization journey of a woman. Okay, so if there is any such backup, if there is any such background that you get for your research, will definitely substantiate to your argument. Okay, is this clear as of now? Any single response? Yes, no, that's it. Is also fine. Okay, if you have written down in the chat box, I am not able to see that because I'm presenting. So, but yeah,
Yes, sir.
yes, okay, okay. So this is how you'll have to get the theoretical background also to like substantiate your argument. आपके argument को और ज़्यादा मजबूत बनाने बनाने के लिए और ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग बनाने के लिए आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, कोई थियोरेटिकल बेस भी लेना पड़ेगा सो दैट इट विल डेफिनेटली सपोर्ट योर आर्गुमेंट्स फर्दर. बट जैसे मैंने बोला कि it is not always necessary that to have any like such theoretical support only. You can, without that also you can definitely develop a research paper. Intersection sectionality का एग्जाम्पल भी आई थिंक यू मस्ट हैव अंडरस्टूड. अभी कोई अगर अर्बन लाइक अर्बनाइजेशन के ऊपर अगर कोई स्टडी कर रहा है, लाइक अर्बन स्लम्स और मे बी poverty in urban areas or maybe education in urban areas of Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, or any other city in the country. So in that also you may get the backup of critical urban theory. What exactly that theory talks about? I mean, someone has already built upon those stuff. So you can take some of those, like backups to, like substantiate your findings as well. If you're studying about gender, definitely intersectionality, or there are multiple feminist theories as well from the from those areas. Okay, so that is what I want to try to substantiate your introduction. Now, literature review is something which is, as I said, summarize what conclusions have been reached in research literature and whether different writers agree or not. That kind of continuum you can do that kind of like analysis, whether who are saying yes or who are saying no, or what are different perspectives of different peoples about that particular problem, and you are analyzing that as per your understanding, as per the requirement of your research, is something which is very, very important. And of course, what are the different controversies around it? uh, I मीन माइग्रेशन को लेकर अलग अलग लोगों के अलग अलग व्यूज है, राइट? हर कोई एक ही बात थोड़ी बोलता है. पॉवर्टी को लेकर अलग अलग लोगों के अलग अलग व्यूज हैं. There are sometimes views from different ideologies also. Like for example, left wing talks something about something different about poverty. They highlight something which is different. At the same time, right wings have a different opinion about poverty. So these are all definitely like kind of different arguments that are coming out from different perspectives, different ideologies, different theoretical backups and all. Okay, so that you'll definitely have to kind of write down in your literature review section. uh, yeah, as I said, in the research methodology, you have to justify each and every method that you have applied, yeah, that you have written in your research paper. So that justification is like always important if you wanted to make your study more reliable, more trustworthy, or more academically rigorous study. Okay, so that has to be kept in mind. uh, I mean, your findings, one point was left out in the first slide that I have shared, is like you definitely have to organize the findings in the sequential manner. The sequence should also, like kind of satisfy you at the first end, but at the same time, technically also it should fit in your research paper. Okay, so like what are the different top headings? Like what are the subheadings? What are the like initial headings that you should definitely focus upon? Like for example, in general, we talk about the general profile of the like field, or maybe the particular problem that you're studying. So what are the general or the common particulars which has to be taken care of? So maybe demographic profile of the sample population, or maybe socio-economic profile of the sample population, or maybe like some of the initial background particulars about the sample population. So that is how you start from that particular general to more specific, whatever you are studying upon. Another area wherein like you can outline your findings or results into by dividing your results into three different objectives that you already have in your research paper. So maybe first objective, second objective, and third objective. Do not write objectives as it is, but some of one of the themes, I mean, like kind of you can create different themes out of all your objectives. So accordingly, that also has to be arranged. Then discussion, uh, as we have already discussed, like what are the common trends, findings, and show that your understanding of what data suggests, highlight anything unexpected that came up. Unexpected means like you might have not assumed that. You might have not, thought about it at the beginning of your research, or maybe at the uh, time of data collection, but something has came unexpectedly in your research, and which is very important, right? Many times what happens, when we are doing grounded research, when we are doing qualitative research, we never know that like what newer picture will come out from the field. We assume that there is something in the problem, but there can be something else also into the problem. So that kind of areas which also should be highlighted, if you think that like something which is very kind of unexpected that has came out. Okay, that can also be highlighted there. uh, Conclusion, we have discussed. Maybe references, yeah. References should be alphabetically arranged. This, see, I had published one of my last paper in MDPI journal. That was in Society's, MDPI publication house, but Society's journal. Here, initially, I thought the references should be, arranged alphabetically. But later on, I got to know that like the MDPI journal wants the references as per the citations that I have made in the paper. The citations that I have, in text citations I'm talking about. So in text citations means like like what in the introduction part of your research paper. So introduction में पहले ही पैराग्राफ में अगर किसी को आपने साइट किया है, ओके, तो वो पहला रेफरेंस बन जाएगा आपका, राइट? सेकंड इसमें साइट किया है तो दूसरा रेफरेंस बन जाएगा। थर्ड थर्ड जो भी है वो तीसरा रेफरेंस बन जाएगा। सो उसमें अल्फाबेटिकली विल नॉट वर्क, इट विल बी as per the sequence of the citations that you have used. ओके, सो वो आपको ये करना है। समटाइम्स साइटेशंस कैसे रखना है वो भी एक गाइडलाइन होता है हर एक जर्नल का। सो फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ जर्नल्स या कुछ पब्लिकेशन हाउसेस, दे एक्सपेक्ट, फॉर एग्जांपल माय नेम गुन्नर, सो गुन्नर पी 2020 bracket in bracket, and I mean bracket in bracket both of these names. Sometimes what happens, they uh, do not expect this kind of citation style. They expect uh, writers to write just the, like, put just the numbers on the top of one of the like words over there at the time, like the when the when the sentence or when the exact citation ends, you will have to put up the number. So that is how you'll have to list down the like as per the I mean, you definitely have to look at the guidelines of each and every journal specific things. प्लेगरिज्म, नाउडेज अभी प्लेगरिज्म को क्या कैसे ये करे, आई मीन एथिक्स इन research nowadays is something which is very very at a very stake, I mean at a like at a very critical stage at this moment, because uh, what are we publishing, how are we publishing, what tools that we are using, uh, what manipulations that we are using, that only the researchers knows, right? Sometimes what we do, we read one sentence and we paraphrase that with our own understanding, and we think that, I mean, we claim that it is our own writing, but actually it is the writing, or it is the argument of someone else, right? So, passing off someone else's work as your own, whether we do this deliberately or not, is a crime as per Plagiarism Act. So, that we should definitely have to keep in mind. Not acknowledging when using information, data, tables, figures, और graphics from other writers. कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, हम लोग इंटरनेट में आजकल बहुत सारे सोर्सेस से हमको अलग अलग इमेजेस मिलते हैं, अलग अलग लाइक पिक्चर्स भी मिलते हैं, अलग अलग ग्राफ्स इजीली अवेलेबल हैं, बट वो सारे जो होते हैं ना, वो कॉपीराइटेड ये होते हैं, इमेजेस होते हैं। वो अगर यूज़ करेंगे आप, और वो उसको आप आपके पेपर में लिखेंगे, और वो अगर डिपिक्ट होता है कि वो आपका इमेज लग रहा है, तो वो ओरिजिनल जो भी क्रिएटर है उस फिगर का या उस इमेज का या कुछ कुछ भी डेटा है, वो आपके ऊपर केस फाइल कर सकता है, right? So you should be very, very careful while using any tables, figures, data, graphics, visuals in the internet sources uh, while use. And सबसे अच्छा आप यूज करो, बट उसको ये करो ना, एक्नॉलेज करो ना कि इसका इस बंदे का है ये, हमको क्या लेना देना है। आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स इट इज नाइस टू एक्नॉलेज समबडी, राइट? एट द सेम टाइम, while writing your research paper, you may receive sometimes some funding from some, like organizations, or maybe, like for example, some of you are doing internship in with Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar chair at Symbiosis, right? So in that case, it is your like ethical duty to acknowledge that support that you have received from this particular center. Okay, not just the university, but like kind of center specific. If any faculty that has actually supported you, you should definitely acknowledge that faculty also in your thesis primarily, but in your paper, while writing a paper, you can definitely see the scope of acknowledging the exact contributors of your research paper. Okay, it is not just the direct contributors, I'm saying indirect contributors also should be acknowledged. So that kind of ethical consideration that we should also keep in mind while publishing a research paper. uh, Inadequately paraphrasing a source. सोर्सेज जो है, क्या हम हाँ, आजकल एआई भी आ गए हैं। एआई जो है आपको आपके सोच से 10 गुना ज़्यादा आपको दे रहा है। आपको इमीडिएटली आप रिसर्च पेपर अगर ड्राफ्ट करने के लिए बोल दिया, तो आपको 10 मिनट में या 2 मिनट में आपको वो पेपर भी जनरेट करके दे रहा है। सो ऐसे सिचुएशन में क्या करेंगे? Will you go with that, or will you not use that? एंड आपने अगर वो नहीं यूज किया है, तो शायद कोई और करेगा और पब्लिश करेगा। सो आई एम सेइंग, जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला है कि लेवरेज करो। लेवरेज मीन्स आप सब चीज़ों का फायदा लो, सब चीज़ों को यूज करो, एक्सेस करो। एंड इफ यू फाइंड that like this is not unethical to use, see the guidelines of the journals also. Journals are also nowadays accepting AI driven papers, but you should also give credit to those sources as well. ये सारी चीज़ें आजकल पब्लिकेशन डोमेन में चल रही है। सो ये सारे जो चीज़ें हैं वो आपको ध्यान में रख के यू विल हैव टू go ahead for submitting that particular paper and publication of that paper. So this is what I wanted to convey today, and I hope this makes you clear about what I wanted to say. I hope clear. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, very clear. Thank you. All right. I think any questions that you would like to ask, or anything that you would like to share? किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन? ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम। अगर अभी भी नहीं है तो कोई बात नहीं। आप अभी के सेशन के अगर कुछ क्वेश्चंस है, आपको लगता है कि बाद में वो पूछनी चाहिए नेक्स्ट सेशन में, सो नेक्स्ट सेशन में हम लोग पहला जो फर्स्ट पार्ट जो है, मे बी फर्स्ट 5 मिनट्स और 10 मिनट्स, वी कैन कीप फॉर योर क्वेश्चंस ओनली, सो दैट वी कैन हैव अ डिस्कशन ऑन दैट। मैं ऐसे नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि मेरे पास सारे क्वेश्चंस के सवाल हैं, लेकिन we can at least have a discussion about that, right? We can explore about it. ठीक है? So वो definitely you can keep in mind, and you can definitely ask the questions. Share your like ideas, share your thoughts about the things. Otherwise, it should not go one